This morning, I woke up and thought, wouldn't it be fun if I sat around and counted the number of times that I've failed recently? Doesn't sound like fun at all, but we're gonna do it anyway. Okay. The number of times I have failed. Is there a number bigger than infinity? Okay, let's start from the beginning. When I first tried to start a business, well over 10 years ago, that first business failed real good. Mostly because I was a student and I felt I wasn't experienced enough to actually charge for my work. And I just kept making people free websites and thinking that somehow I would magically make that work. Not sure how giving away stuff for free was gonna translate into a thriving business, but we'll count that as lessons learned. Failure number 1. I tried to revive that same business about 3 years later, but nobody was biting. Basically, all my husband's friends were asking for websites. They were college professors. So I made a lot of, resume websites. You can't charge a lot for that. So I realized it also wasn't gonna work. Failure number 2. After that, I decided I should freelance because then I can do all kinds of things and get paid for it. And that's exactly what I did. Turns out I hate freelancing. Because that whole thing where I hate being told what to do in a normal job happens to be exactly what freelancing is. So that didn't work out. Failure number 3. Number 4 was a little bit different because I decided to take that web design business idea that I'd had so many times, and I finally had the wake up call moment that, hey, I'm trying to make my own website and get a bunch of people to it. Why don't I sell web design in a place where people are already shopping online in droves? So I decided to list my web design services on Etsy. They were wildly popular. And I also added graphic design services. One of the particularly painful lessons I learned in this particular iteration of my business was that real estate agents would come to you asking for a graphic design. You'd send them a proof and then they'd steal the proof and never pay you. That happened. We can just add that one to the fail counter. But the other problem with this particular business was that I was working 80 hours a week just to complete all the work I was getting. And when you added up all the money I was making, it was really only about $200 a week. So for a completely maxed out working month that I was doing while I had a full-time job was making me around $800 extra a month. Not worth it. Fail. Okay, so I finally used Etsy to start a business that actually worked for me by selling sarcastic homeware. I was finally making more money and I wasn't working 80 hours a week, and I was making more like $500 a week instead of $200. So okay, we're on the right track. So many little fails happened during this time. I couldn't even count them all. I've created products that don't sell. I've spent lots of time developing products that ultimately never went anywhere, which involves buying inventory, buying equipment, testing it out, paying for stuff that I never wound up using. That happened all the time. And let's not even talk about trying to solve the problem of shipping, which took me forever and was very expensive until I ultimately just paid the post office guy to come pick stuff up from me every day. All of those things were fine. A little crazy, but fine. After about a year of doing Etsy, I decided I needed more passive income that didn't involve me packing boxes or talking to customers all day. So I decided to start a blog. That went interesting. About 3 months in, I decided to do a webinar with a big software company to try and sell one of my courses that I'd made for the blog, because everybody online was doing webinars and selling courses. So that's what I had to do, right? Well, even though that big software company, their entire list about my webinar, maybe 10 people showed up. It may have actually been 5. I may have blocked this out because it was traumatic at the time. I literally did 2 months of work to wind up pitching a product to 10, maybe 5 people. And after all that work I did, I made $300 off that webinar. When you compared that to what the Etsy shop was bringing in at that time, it was peanuts. And I could have easily gone, okay, this is way harder than Etsy. I'm just gonna stop and focus on Etsy. Screw the blog, screw webinars. That was fairly embarrassing. Definitely added to the fail counter, but I didn't. Instead, I decided to take that fail and try again. About 3 months later, I launched my second course. I did it without a webinar this time, and that course made $11,000 in about a week. And I was like, oh, that's more than I've ever seen on Etsy at once, especially in a week. So that fail actually led to a later success, which was really cool. And while I could literally keep listing failures for you all day because the list is long and I screw up year after year after year, no matter how hard I try not to, I've made decisions that cost me serious money and led to week-long stuffing my face watching Netflix binges. But all that shit was worth it. All those failures forced me to fix something that was wrong in my business. And yeah, I learned the hard way and that sucked. But because it sucked and it sort of f***ed up my life for a minute, I will never forget those lessons. Human beings remember trauma. We remember negative reinforcement. That's why we respond so strongly to 1-star reviews, our parents being disappointed, and being made fun of on the playground for that dorky t-shirt we used to wear. Failure is so important to building your business that I actually get kind of excited when I f*** up these days because I know I'm about to learn how to fix something major and it's about to significantly change my business overnight. You can't pay someone for that kind of insight. Bottom line, failure is a kick-ass way to learn important business lessons really fast. Really fast. Embrace that. You can trust yourself to fix what's wrong, let go, and realize that you need to ride the failure train to make legit money, or in my case, the changes that lead you to making legit money. Remember that when toddlers learn to walk, they don't just fall down and go, oh hey, that was embarrassing, I failed. I think I'll never try that again. If toddlers did that, we'd all just be blobs, like pulling ourselves around in wheelbarrows, I don't even know. But they don't give up. As kids, we fail all the time and we totally just keep right on doing what we're doing until it works. That's literally how we learned all the skills we have as an adult. It's how you learn to ride a bike, it's how you learn to get through school, and it's how you learned to dress yourself, talk with other people, do whatever it is that you need to do to function day to day. You learned all of those things by failing your way through them, and running a business is no different. In fact, there will be more failures. They will be bigger, more expensive, and scarier. You'll be real good and traumatized, which means that you'll learn faster. And if you actually take those bad things and figure out what you learned from them and fix them, then your business will continue to grow. Remember that I went from an embarrassing $300 webinar incident to $11,000 just 3 months later. It would have taken me years to figure that out if I hadn't gone through the pain and embarrassment of that real dinky webinar. But because I did that and I put myself out there, I got to go through the wave of emotion that comes with being embarrassed and the wave of emotion that comes with, no, I'm gonna be stubborn and make this work. Cause nothing makes you stubborn like feeling real stupid about something you just did. So don't be too upset about your failures. I fail at ending videos. You're about to watch me fail at it real good right now. I have no idea what to say to you or how to end this. Like and subscribe? Please leave a comment telling me how to end my videos. I would sincerely appreciate it. Apparently, I'm too stupid to Google how to end your videos. We could all talk about that.